Hello students, we are discussing electrochemistry now part 2. In the previous video we discussed the relationship between K and lambda. For this we have considered as 1 gram equivalent weight of substance is taken in 1 cc solution and then it is diluted for 4 times, that is 4 cc, and then diluted for 9 times 9 cc. In this case, the measured conductance is equals to equivalent conductance because only 1 gram equivalent weight of substance is present, and the conductance of the solution which is having 1 gram equivalent weight, we call it as equivalent conductance. So the measured conductance in the first case is equals to equivalent conductance, and it is also equals to specific conductance. The measured conductance is equals to equivalent conductance and it is also equals to specific conductance because specific conductance is measured for only 1 cc solution. So in the first case all the three will become equal, and on diluting for 4 times the measured conductance is again equals to equivalent conductance because in the 4 cc solution only 1 gram equivalent weight of substance is present, and we do not bother about the volume of the solution, but we want only 1 gram equivalent weight of substance should be there. As 1 gram equivalent weight of substance is present in this 4 cc solution, the measured conductance we call it as equivalent conductance lambda. Now specific conductance K is the conductance of a solution whose volume is 1 cc, or a solution which is taken in a cell whose electrodes are separated by 1 centimeter distance, and the area of cross section of electrodes is 1 centimeter square, or simply we can say that a solution whose volume is 1 cc and the conductance of that solution is called as specific conductance. So here 4 cc solution is there. Now 1 gram equivalent weight of substance is uniformly distributed in the 4 cc, but we want the conductance of only 1 cc or any one of the cube, or the or or we want the conductance of the electrolyte solution present in only one cube. Now the electrolytic solution is distributed uniformly among the 4 cubes and whose conductance is lambda. Now the conductance of only one cube will become 1 by 4th of the total conductance, that is lambda, because the conductance becomes 1 by 4 because all the ions are distributed among the 4 cubes. Now the number of ions present in only one cube will become 1 by 4th, and the conductance depends upon number of ions because they are the current carriers. So the conductance as the ions are the current carriers, conductance depends upon number of ions, and the number of ions present in 1 cc will become 1 by 4th of the total number of ions. So the conductance also becomes 1 by 4th of total conductance, that is K equals to lambda by 4. In the 9 cc solution, so measured conductance becomes equals to lambda, that is equivalent conductance because again 1 gram equivalent weight of substance is present. Now specific conductance is equals to conductance of any one of the cube or any 1 cc solution. Let us take like this. Now the number of ions present in 1 cc will becomes equals to 1 by 9th of the total number of ions, or the conductance of this 1 cc or 1 cube is equals to 1 by 9th of total conductance, that is equivalent conductance, or lambda by 9. So from this we can say that we can understand that lambda is remaining constant even on dilution, but whereas K is becoming 1 by 4th here and 1 by 9th here. So on dilution lambda is remaining constant, but whereas because it is the conductance of this total solution is lambda here, the conductance of total solution again we treated as lambda here, and conductance as the number of ions are not changing here, so the conductance value remain constant, that is equivalent conductance remain constant. So equivalent conductance is constant even on dilution, but whereas specific conductance K is decreasing, it is becoming 1 by 4th here and 1 by 9th here. So specific conductance decreases with dilution, whereas equivalent conductance is remaining constant. So by theory we can say that equivalent conductance is a constant with dilution, whereas specific conductance decreases with dilution. But it is found experimentally that equivalent conductance also increases by small amount, by small fraction. And to explain the behavior of the electrolyte, Uh, to explain the behavior of effect of dilution on equivalent conductance and behavior of electrolytes, a theory proposed by Arrhenius called Arrhenius theory of electrolyte dissociation. You see here, on dilution, KCl solution, this side concentration is increasing and this side dilution is increasing. On dilution, KCl equivalent conductance is increasing. On y-axis, equivalent conductance values are taken. On x-axis, concentration is taken. On dilution, on this side concentration is decreasing, that means dilution is increasing. On dilution, equivalent conductance value of KCl is increasing as well as acetic acid is also increasing. But the difference is, on dilution it is increasing gradually, and at a point on extrapolation of this line it will reach y-axis at one particular point, and at zero dilution or at zero concentration or infinite dilution we can get the equivalent conductance of KCl solution. Whereas for acetic acid, the graph is growing like this as a curve, and we cannot extrapolate it to find the equivalent conductance at zero concentration or infinite dilution. And to explain the effect of dilution on the conductivity of these type of electrolytes, a theory was proposed by Arrhenius called Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation. According to this theory, an electrolyte, when dissolved in water, it undergoes ionization to give charged spaces. Those are positively charged and negatively charged spaces called as cations and anions. Now there exists an equilibrium between undissociated molecule and dissociated ions. It means equilibrium means the ionized A plus and B minus will again combine to give AB, and this will undergo ionization to give A plus and B minus. So there exists an equilibrium between undissociated molecule and dissociated ions. Now degree of dissociation alpha is given as number of molecules dissociated into ions by total number of molecules. Let us take here an example. Suppose 100 molecules of AB is taken, and if no molecule of AB is dissociated, number of A plus ions is 0 and number of B minus ions are 0. Suppose if out of 100, if 60 molecules of AB are dissociated, if 60 AB dissociates, it will give 60 A plus, and if because one molecule is giving 1 A plus and 1 B minus, so 60 molecules will give 60 A plus and 60 B minus. Now as 60 molecules of AB are dissociated, out of 160 are dissociated, and remaining AB will be 100 minus 60, that is 40. Now degree of dissociation is treated as number of molecules dissociated by total number of molecules. Number of molecules dissociated here is 60, by total number of molecules is 100. If we take in percentage, it will become 60%, or degree of ionization alpha is equals to 0.6. Now the degree of dissociation we obtained as 60%. It means 60 A plus will be forming and 60 B minus will be forming, and remaining AB will be 40. Now out of this 60 A plus 60 B minus formed, again one molecule of A plus and one molecule of B minus may combine to give AB, and one molecule of AB may again convert to give A plus and B minus, or 2 or 3 molecules of 2 or 3 A plus and B minus ions combine to give AB, and at the same time 2 or 3 again which remain undissociated, another 2 or 3 which remain undissociated may undergo dissociation to give A plus and B minus. So now this type of equilibrium or continuous forward and backward reactions will be taking place, and so this process we call it as equilibrium process. In this, forward and backward reactions are taking place continuously, keep on moving, or A plus B minus will be converted to AB, and some other which remained undissociated may undergo dissociation to give A plus and B minus. So there exists a continuous equilibrium between undissociated AB and dissociated ions A plus and B minus. Now applying law of mass action, degree of ionization K is equals to concentration of the products A plus B minus by concentration of the reactant AB. So by applying law of mass action or the laws of chemical equilibrium, degree of ionization K is given by the formula concentration of A plus B minus by AB concentration. Now he stated that with increase in the dilution, that means with increase in the dilution V, then alpha value also increases, degree of ionization also increases. So alpha value is directly proportional to V. With increase in dilution or increase in the volume of the solution, dilution or decrease in the concentration, degree of dissociation will also increase. Now alpha is measured as lambda V by lambda infinity. Lambda V indicates the conductance value at particular dilution V, and lambda infinity indicates the conductance value at infinite dilution. Let us take here for example, when 100 molecules of A are present and 0 of it are dissociated, so it will give 0 and 0. And suppose let us consider 60 of them are remaining and 40 has undergone dissociation at particular dilution V, and at another dilution, with increase in the dilution, more dilution, suppose some more molecules have dissociated 40 and 60 are formed, because 60 are undergoing dissociation, remaining will be 40. But at infinite dilution, all the molecules will undergo ionization. So all the with increase in the dilution, the number of molecules dissociating will also undergoing ionization will also increase. At infinite dilution, that means almost maximum possible dilution, at infinite dilution, all the ions present in the solution will undergo ionization. So the number of AB will be 0 and A plus will be forming 100 and B minus will also be forming 100. Now alpha value can be measured from the formula lambda V by lambda infinity, because the formula for lambda is number of molecules dissociated by total number of molecules. And we know that conductance value depends upon number of ions. So let us consider at a particular dilution having V volume. The number of ions dissociated, the number of molecules dissociated is 40, and the conductance value depends upon and only these ions will be contributing to the conductance. Only these 40 ions are responsible for giving conductance to that solution. And at another dilution V, 60 ions plus 60, 120 ions will be there, and the conductance will depends upon these ions only. So at any particular dilution, the conductance value will depend upon number of molecules dissociated. So this lambda V value is also proportional to is depending upon number of molecules dissociated. Number of molecules dissociated by 100 0 suppose 40 undissociated and 60 are dissociated, 60 also dissociated here. At infinite dilution this will be 0, this is 100 and this is 100. If we want alpha, we have to know number of molecules dissociated by total number of molecules. Number of molecules dissociated, if the number of molecules dissociated increases, the lambda V value also increases. So number of molecules dissociated is proportional to the number of molecules dissociated is proportional to lambda V, because Only dissociated molecules will give rise to conductance. Undissociated molecule will not give rise to conductance because those are not charged species. Only charged species will conduct electricity, and they move towards cathode and anode. Cation move towards cathode and anion move towards anode. So the number of molecules dissociated value is proportional to the conductance value at particular dilution V. Because if the more number of molecules dissociated, more the value of conductance at particular dilution. So number of we have to get this value. We have to get number of molecules dissociated. We want number of molecules dissociated into ions. Its value is proportional to lambda V by total number of molecules. Total number of molecules is proportional to lambda infinity, because at infinite dilution all the molecules are supposed to undergo ionization. And so number of ions formed will be equals to total number of molecules present, and the conductance of that solution, that is lambda infinity, and total number of molecules is proportional to the lambda infinity value. So if more the number of molecules are present in the initial solution, more of them will be undergoing ionization, and more will be the value of lambda infinity. So the total number of molecules is proportional to lambda infinity, because at infinite dilution all the molecules will undergo ionization to give A plus and B minus, and the conductance obtained at this point of infinite dilution is equals to the conductance because of all the molecules. So we can say that at infinite dilution the conductance is proportional to total number of molecules. So alpha equals to lambda V by lambda infinity. So to measure the degree of dissociation, that is number of molecules dissociated into ions by total number of molecules, we have to calculate lambda V by lambda infinity. This value will give alpha, that is degree of ionization. That is at infinite dilution 0 of AB will be there, and 100 A plus will be forming, and 100 B minus will be forming. The number of ions formed here is equals to total number of ions present in the initial solution, that is AB, that is 100 molecules. So number of A plus ions forming and number of B minus ion forming is equals to total number of ions that is present initially, and the conductance at this point, that is infinite dilution, is equals to the conductance of this total ions, which itself is equals to total number of molecules present in the solution. So at infinite dilution conductance is proportional to number of molecules present. So the total number of molecules we can say as it is proportional to lambda infinity. So alpha equals to lambda V by lambda infinity. Now the ionized ions A plus and B minus will behave like a particle and show the same effect as a non-volatile solute on colligative properties. And we know that colligative properties depends upon number of particles, and on dissociation or ionization number of particles are increasing, and all these ions will behave like a particle and show the same effect on colligative properties. It means colligative properties depends upon number of solute particles. If it is if it is not undergoing any ionization, number of particles of AB will become only 1, but on ionization it is giving 2 particles Each cation and each anion will behave like a particles. On ionization it is having two particles, and before ionization ionized molecule have only one particle. So the colligative properties of unionized molecule will be less, whereas ions or after ionization the colligative properties will be more, because number of particles are also more. So this effect is seen as number of particles are increased, colligative properties are also increases. This effect is seen in measuring osmotic pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, relative lowering of vapor pressure, all the colligative properties. Now, evidences in favor of ionic theory. Arrhenius proposed that AB electrolyte undergoes ionization in water to give A plus and B minus. And there are some evidences in favor of this ionic theory. Ions are found to be present in solid state by X-ray diffraction studies, and the ionic reactions are taking place. So it is also evidence for that ions are present. Ions are present in an electrolyte. Next, abnormal colligative properties. As we discussed, if we do not undergo ionization, colligative properties will be less, but colligative properties are found to be more. So it is evidence of this ionization theory, that is AB molecule is undergoing ionization. And the concept of electrolysis. Electrolysis means by passing current, cation moving towards cathode and anion moves towards anode. So there are existing charged species. Electrolysis is possible only whenever there are charged species. So this theory of ionization is may be treated as correct. Salt hydrolysis. Conductance value. Conductance arises only because of the presence of charged species. If the electrolyte is present in undissociated form, it will not contribute. There will not be any conductance in that solution. But if the electrolyte undergoes ionization, then only it will give rise to conductance. So existence of conductance is the evidence of this Arrhenius theory of ionization. And solubility product. All these phenomena will give the evidence in favor of ionic theory. Next, Ostwald applied law of chemical equilibrium to based on the Arrhenius theory. He applied law of chemical equilibrium to the unionized molecule and ionized ions. Let us take AB is a molecule undergoing ionization to give A plus and B minus. If degree of dissociation is alpha, now out of AB, 1 minus alpha will, if the degree of dissociation is alpha, 1 minus alpha molecules of A plus and alpha molecules of B minus will be forming. As we discussed in the previous in our example, if 60 is the degree of dissociation, 60 A plus and 60 B minus is forming. If alpha is the degree of ionization, alpha A plus and alpha B minus will be forming, and remaining AB will be as we have given example 1 minus 60. Now here we have to take as 1 minus alpha. So AB is present as 1 minus alpha, A plus is alpha and B minus is also alpha if it is 1 mole. But if we take C concentration of the solution as C moles per liter, then it will become C into 1 minus alpha, A plus will be C alpha and B minus is also C alpha. Now applying law of mass action, K equals to concentration of products by concentration of reactant. So C alpha by C into 1 minus alpha, or C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. C cancel. C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. Now writing the concentration in terms of dilution V. We know that concentration indicates number of moles per liter. Number of moles per liter indicates concentration. So taking the volume to be constant 1 liter, number of moles, by increasing number of moles, concentration also increases. And dilution is shown by letter V. Dilution gives the volume of the solution in VML having 1 mole of solute. The volume of the solution having 1 mole of solute. So if 1 mole of solute is present in VML, we call its dilution to be V. If 1 mole of solute is present in 2 ml, we call its dilution to be 2V. Or if 1 mole of solute is present in 3V ml, we call its dilution to be 3V. So for expressing dilution, we have to take only 1 mole of substance and consider its the amount of solvent present. So if the concentration is C moles per liter, then its dilution is how much? We have to calculate now. So C moles are present in 1 liter, but for dilution we wanted to know 1 mole of substance is present in how much volume. 1 mole is present in how much volume, or how much ml or VML. That will become 1 by C. So V equals to volume equals to 1 by C. Because for measuring concentration we have to see how many number of moles of solute present in liter. But for measuring dilution we have to see in how much volume 1 mole of solute is present. So here in volume 1 by C ml, 1 mole of substance is present. So if the concentration is C moles per liter, dilution will become 1 by C. So or simply you just remember that if concentration is C, dilution will become V equals to 1 by C, or concentration is inversely proportional to volume. With increase in concentration, volume will be decreasing. So we can write V equals to 1 by C, or C equals to 1 by V. In place of C, substitute 1 by V. Or from this, if alpha value is small, 1 minus alpha can be neglected in the denominator. Or if alpha value is very small, 1 minus alpha can be treated equals to 1. So if alpha is very small, subtracting that small value from 1 will almost give a number equals to 1 only. So 1 minus alpha in the denominator can be treated as equals to 1. So K equals to alpha square by V, or K equals to C into alpha square. From this, K equals to C into alpha square, or alpha square by V. From this we can write alpha square equals to K by C. Alpha square equals to K by C. Or from this we can write alpha is equals to under root K by C, as K is a constant, equilibrium constant. By removing that constant we can introduce proportionality symbol. So alpha is proportional to 1 by root C, or alpha is proportional to root V. It means with increase in the dilution, alpha proportional to V means root V means with increase in dilution alpha value increases, or alpha inversely proportional to C means with increase in concentration alpha value decreases. Now let us see the application of Ostwald theory of Ostwald dilution law. And Ostwald dilution law is found to be applicable only for dilute solutions. So we call it as Ostwald dilution law, and it is applicable for only weak electrolytes. Let us see one of the application of Ostwald dilution law. A solution of ammonia gives following values of equivalent conductance at different dilution. V in liters, that is 8 liters, 16 liters, 32 liters, and the value of lambda V are given here. Now, if equivalent conductivity at infinite dilution of ammonium hydroxide is 237 ohm inverse centimeter square, show that the above given data establish the validity of Ostwald isolation law. From Ostwald isolation law, we obtained K equals to alpha square by 1 minus alpha into V. If K value is found to be constant at different dilutions, then this law is valid. Because K is equilibrium constant, that is a constant that should be constant at different dilutions. For this, we have to calculate alpha value. Alpha can be obtained from lambda V by lambda infinity, and lambda V values are given at different dilutions. And lambda infinity is also given to us. Substitute this, you will get the value of alpha, and substitute alpha values and V value in this equation. Alpha for 8 liters dilution, alpha is 0.0135. Substitute here, you will get K value here. For 16 liter dilution, alpha is this much. 16 liter, alpha is this much. You will get value of K, and K value is found to be almost same in all the cases. So K is constant, and so this law, Ostwald isolation law, is found to be valid. Ostwald isolation law is found to be valid at different dilutions, and it is found that you see here on dilution from 8 to 16 to 32, alpha value is also increasing. So it proves, it is the evidence that Ostwald assumption of alpha directly proportional to volume is found to be correct. Now, limitations of Ostwald isolation dilution law. This law holds good only for weak electrolytes and fail to explain in case of strong electrolytes, because in case of strong electrolytes, actually this law is based on Arrhenius theory of ionization, which assumes that there exists an equilibrium between unionized molecule and dissociated ions or ionized charged species. But this equilibrium will hold good only for weak electrolytes, whereas in case of strong electrolytes, the molecule will undergo complete ionization to give charged species. So this equilibrium will not exist for strong electrolytes. So we cannot apply Ostwald dilution law for strong electrolytes. And the value of alpha is determined by conductivity measurements lambda V by lambda infinity. Lambda V by lambda infinity gives the degree of dissociation, ionization, only in case of weak electrolytes. But in case of strong electrolytes, lambda V by lambda infinity do not give degree of ionization, because strong electrolytes are found to be completely ionizing at normal dilutions only. So lambda V by lambda infinity do not give the value of alpha, because for strong electrolytes, all the molecules will undergo ionization at at normal concentrations also. So there is no question of degree of dissociation for strong electrolytes, and this ratio lambda V by lambda infinity do not give degree of dissociation for strong electrolytes. Now let's see the failures of now limitations of Arrhenius theory. This law is not applicable for strong electrolytes, as we said, because strong electrolytes will undergo complete ionization, so there is no question of equilibrium. And strong electrolytes conduct electricity even in the fused state. We have discussed that fused state means in molten state, that is in liquid state of is all ionic compound. They conduct electricity even in the fused state, that is in the absence of water, without taking in the solution. Now this is the contradiction to Arrhenius theory, that according to Arrhenius theory, Electrolyte will undergo ionization only in the presence of water, and they will give cation and anion. But whereas in case of ionic compounds, they are present as cation and anion even in the fused state in the absence of water also. Uh, then so the presence of solvent is not must for undergoing ionization of an electrolyte. So instead of using the term ionization, Arrhenius theory of ionization, uh, it is called as dissociation. So the term ionization is replaced by dissociation because ions are present even in the absence of water also. So in the presence of water, they are undergoing dissociation than ionization in case of strong electrolytes. And strong electrolytes are the electrolytes which are highly ionized in the solution. Example HCl, H2SO4 like that. Weak electrolytes, they undergo less dissociation. Now we obtained a graph like this. For a strong electrolyte, the conductance value is initially high, but it is increasing gradually, very gradually, and at infinite dilution, the conductance value can be obtained by extrapolating the graph. Whereas in case of weak electrolyte, the conductance value is very less in initially, but on dilution it is increasing, but it is not reaching a particular and by extrapolation of this curve we cannot get the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution because the curve is going like this, and by extrapolating it we cannot get the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution. You see here, uh, strong electrolytes are initially having higher conductance value, whereas weak electrolytes are having less conductance value. It indicates that weak electrolytes undergo less dissociation at high concentration, but on lowering the concentration, the degree of dissociation is increasing, and so the conductance value is also increasing. Whereas in case of strong electrolytes, they are already undergoing 100% ionization at at high concentrations itself. So on increasing the dilution, their conductance value increases very low amount, because at ordinary dilutions only they are completely ionized. So even on dilution the number of ions will not increase, so the conductance value slowly increases or gradually increases, and at infinite dilution the conductance can be obtained by extrapolating that graph. And the conductance of weak electrolytes are increasing with dilution, and according to Arrhenius theory, he stated that with increase in the dilution, degree of dissociation increases. So as the degree of dissociation increasing, number of ions will also increase, so the conductance value increases. So Arrhenius theory can explain the conductance behavior of weak electrolytes on dilution. But whereas in case of strong electrolytes, they are already have undergone complete ionization at ordinary dilutions or at high concentrations itself, but still their conductance value is increasing slightly. And this concept of 100% ionization at ordinary concentrations or at ordinary dilution is not proposed by Arrhenius theory. And the conductance of strong electrolytes are slightly increasing with dilution. Then the reason for this slight increase in the dilution of increase in the conductance of strong electrolytes on dilution is not explained by Arrhenius theory. Arrhenius theory can explain the conductance of weak electrolytes, increase in the conductance of weak electrolytes with dilution, because on dilution number of dissociating molecules will increase, so the number of ions will increase. As the number of ions are increasing, conductance value also increases. So for weak electrolytes, conductance is increasing because of number of ions. Whereas in case of strong electrolytes, they already have high conductance value, but still their conductance value is increasing gradually, and the cause for this increase in the conductance is not explained. is not explained by Arrhenius theory. So Arrhenius theory is applicable only for weak electrolytes, whereas it is not applicable for strong electrolytes. And to explain the behavior of conductance of uh, strong electrolytes, another theory called D by Huckel theory is proposed that we shall discuss in next video. Thank you.